I have a few things I want to say. You know that old saying, hold on a minute, please. Close the door. You know that old saying, small world? Well, I was a fan, not like a super duper, oh my god, I love you so much, I want to kiss your feet. But I was a fan of Danielle Harris. I wasn't her biggest fan. Danielle Harris has in two of the Halloween movies. Danielle Harris has in the original, as in the remake of Halloween. Danielle Harris is in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. You've seen that Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, 1991. Here's the thing. She's just small. She's in that. She's 5 years older than me. Yeah, she's 46. And now, I was looking at Danielle Harris's page. It was Instagram, I think it was. Yeah, Instagram. And I saw like a massive of her and some friends. They were doing a photo shoot, covered in blood, because they're mostly horror. She likes the horror genre. She does other movies, but she's known for horror genre. And a couple of women, her covered in blood. One of them is Scout Taylor Thompson, who played in the remake of Halloween. She played was Jamie. No, not Jamie. What's her name? Laurie. She played Laurie, the main character in the remake of Halloween. And one of her friends is named Tiffany. And I just clicked on, who's that? This is the minor actress in her own right. Who was that? And I unfollowed Danielle because of Tiffany. Because Tiffany is such a scumbag that I couldn't follow Danielle knowing Danielle was friends with Tiffany. Now, Tiffany, her daughter did survive a school shooting, okay, which is not something that I support, period. Okay, no parent should go through that, no matter what I feel about the person. But Tiffany is a gun control zealot and an abortion zealot. To the point where she abuses legal gun owners. She'll take a picture of a legal gun owner, use it in a meme. Okay, she abuses legal gun owners. She demeans legal gun owners. And the abortion factor. She posted a meme with the what do you call this fucking one? The handmaids. Yeah. And her point about abortion is some babies are unloved, some babies are unwanted. Now that's the exact language that a school shooter uses. Okay? The difference is you're looking at a pregnant woman and that school shooter is looking at a classroom. It's the same logic. You're unloved and you're unwanted, therefore I should kill you. Or you should die. Or someone should kill you. That is a very, very, very psychologically disturbing thought to have in your head. Because you're unloved, because you're a fucking baby, okay? It's not like you're a pimp, or you're a terrorist, or you're a child molester, okay? You're a fucking baby, okay? And even if the baby is unwanted, even if the baby is unloved, the baby is still a human being, okay? And I know people that would sell their soul to the devil to have a baby. My friend survived 4 cancers. She cannot have biological children. She will one day, she's my age, she's get ready for it, but she will one day have a child, but she has to have a child through non-biological means. Okay? So there are married couples, whatever race they are, whatever religion they are, whatever their politics are, even if they're same-sex couples, let's be realistic about that, okay? They cannot have a biological child, or they want another child. Maybe they have children already, and they can't have more biologically, or they're just looking to adopt the baby, okay? They will take that baby in, okay? So that baby is wanted by somebody, okay? And this Tiffany woman believes in abortion up to the moment of birth, the liberal mantra, who the fuck are you? Stay out of my pussy. I mean, the liberal fucking nut bullshit. And I'm like, at one point, you're like, all gun owners are scum because my daughter got shot by a kid with a gun. Okay, you know, we need to ban guns to save children's lives, but by all means, abort them anyway. Okay, and it's totally fucking disgusting. So I'm like, okay, Daniel, you want to be friends with her? I'm not your fan anymore. I'm just not. Okay, I can't be friends with you because Danielle Harris has married with 2 kids, and I'm like, you're letting her run your shit? Seriously? It's one thing if you're like, well, maybe we should have abortion up to month 3. Now, abortion is by definition the legal killing of a child. That is the mumbo jumbo aside. When you have an abortion, you are killing a child. Okay, which is itself morally wrong. But the liberal mantra today, this up to moment of birth, and this justifying it by unloved and unwanted, okay? That's what Hitler did. Hitler said these people are unwanted, they don't deserve life. I should just kill them. Okay? Now, here's what I mean when I say small world. I follow an account on Instagram. It's a girl who was a pro-life advocate. She had a baby at 16. She's a little older than 16 now, but she had a baby at 16. And she... Well, the story of the shooting I'm talking about, a guy had a collection of guns. He was then convicted of a felony. For some, I don't know what the felony was, but for some reason, he's a convicted felon. Now, when you're a convicted felon, the law requires your guns to be removed from you. His guns were not removed. I don't know how, I don't know why. There was no search of his house, but there were no guns. And this is California, where the guns are heavily regulated. But he had guns, felony conviction, the guns were not confiscated. He dies of some reason. And his son is a high school student. His son then gains access to the guns. I don't know if they're in the closet, the basement. I don't know where they are. So I don't know what felony conviction. I don't know how the guy died. I don't know where the guns are, but his son has access to them. Now, most school shooters are happy to tell you they're a school shooter. Okay, most school shooters, you look at Columbine, you look at Parkland, which is the most stunning example of Parkland. The school shooters are always saying, I'm going to get a gun, I'm going to kill all you all need to die, I'm going to get you all, you're going to feel my wrath. And then the guy comes to school with a gun, kills everybody. I'm like, what? I mean, he was serious about that? Whereas most serial killers are, some are married with kids, some go to church, some are involved in charities, okay? And this wonderful, wonderful person who lives in your neighborhood, who you invite to your house, who you go to their house, okay? The funniest person in the world, and then one day you're like, what? You're a serial killer? Oh shit. You killed, oh my God. This kid was more of a serial killer because he was the boy next door, Boy Scout, honor roll. You wanted your kids to be him, okay? He's the guy you want your daughter to date. He was very, very below the radar. There were no signs. He gets a gun, brings it to school. The gun in question was an 1911 style low receiver, 80%. Now, you have the 1911 style, the Glock, the Polymer A is a Glock. Let's be honest about that. It's a Glock. And the AR. And they're banned in a lot of states now. Not all, but they're banned in some states. It's basically a fad, okay? It's a fad. You order it through the mail, and because it's not complete, it's not a gun. And then you take a drill, stencils, jigs, and you drill out the holes, and yeah. But it's not that easy. You gotta have at least some machining skill. Because you gotta drill out all the holes for the trigger this, and the safety that, and the magazine that. You gotta drill this shit out. And then you gotta buy all the parts and build the gun yourself. And by the time you get done building the gun, it costs a little bit more. Okay, I could buy a Glock off the shelf for $200 less than buying the Palmer 80 frame and putting all the shit in it. Yeah, or 1911. Yeah, well, he had a 1911 clone. He I don't know how or why he got it. It was just his father had some guns. His father's dead. He has access. He grabs a gun. It happens to be that. Brings it to school. The school was ready. They did shoot drills. They had an armed guard. They had a perimeter fence. They had first aid kits in every classroom. They taught the kids to lock down, assume a defensive position in case we have to fight back, fight, flight, or what you would call it. They knew what they were doing, this school. Okay, contrary to popular belief, this school was pretty well prepared. He picked a time in between classes, where the bell rings, we go in the hallway, and the school bell rings. They're in the hallway. Shoots 4 kids, 2 live, 2 die, killed himself. He timed this at the armed guard was on the opposite end of the building during his patrols, and he knew the armed guard would not interfere. And it was on his own birthday, so he was a fucking psychopath under the radar. Now, this girl who had the baby at 16, she's a little older now, she posted one recently, a few months ago, on a memorial about the 2 kids that died. She went to school with these people, and she was like a year older than them, and she was there when it happened. Then, a few months later, I'm actually coming back from Disney World, and she's talking about lockdown, this, lockdown, that, another school shooting, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This young lady, Tiffany's daughter, was shot in the stomach, and she lived because she was able to get to a first aid kit. She was shot in the stomach. They pulled her into a classroom and gave her first aid and stuff like that, and they controlled the bleeding and got her to the hospital and saved her life. This young lady that I follow, she was one of the kids that grabbed her, pulled into the classroom, and saved her life. So this girl owes this young lady her life. Now, she is anti-abortion, got pregnant at 16, and kept the baby. She is a Second Amendment supporter. And I spoke to her about it. Tiffany and her daughter turned their backs on her entirely. Now, the first girl, I must have seen about 2 dozen lives. The first girl, I had her from age 10 to age 14. And I had to endure puberty. And it wasn't easy. A lot of days she would be in a bad mood, didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to say hello to me. 12, 13, that's a tough range for a girl. And there was one day in particular when, "Hi, sweetheart," and talked to the hand. She didn't hit me, she was, talked to the hand. She was in a bad fucking mood. But she never forgot who I was. She never forgot that I was the man. She never forgot that I was in charge. And she never lost respect for me. Imagine saving someone's life, literally. And because you have different political beliefs than them, they turn their back on you entirely. Now, this Tiffany and her daughter have been to the White House. They've been celebrated by liberals. They've been in public places. There's pictures of them online. And they were at the White House for this new unveiling of the government agency to study gun violence. Here's the issue. Someone, somehow, during the Afghanistan surrender, they left behind thousands of military weapons. And when I say military, I don't mean a rifle or a pistol grip. I mean real military. M16, M240, M249, 50 caliber, 30 caliber, okay? They left behind military hardware. And they said it's cheaper to leave it behind than just take it with us. Okay? Well, forget about cheaper. Understand that the people you surrender to were a terrorist group. The Taliban are a terrorist group. Okay? And when you surrender to them, you leave the equipment in their hands. And when you talk about gun violence, okay, this Tiffany woman and her daughter, they did not once complain about the guns that were left behind and the violence those guns are going to commit in the hands of the Taliban and the Afghan and the Al Qaeda. Okay? They talk about abusing women because you don't want to have 9-month abortions. What about the Taliban, who rape women like it's bodily function, beat women, force underage girls to marry men older than me, kick girls out of school, kick girls out of the workforce, okay? You don't complain about that. How about the girls that are being trafficked along the southern border, the girls that are being brought into this country and sex slaved? Okay? So, you're palling around with government officials who, A, left actual military weapons in the hands of actual terrorists, Taliban, Al Qaeda, that will actually be used to kill women and children or oppress women and children. Okay? Then, on the southern border, girls are being sex trafficked. And you have no problem associating with the people that allow that to happen. Because by not securing the border and by leaving military weapons in Afghanistan, and they say it's too expensive to bring the military weapons home, cheaper to leave them. Okay, well, you don't care about expense when you send money to foreign countries, Ukraine. Okay, but when they are weapons in the hands of terrorists, it's too expensive, leave them behind. Okay, so you're palling around with people who are responsible for allowing the southern border to be open and girls to be sex trafficked. You're palling around with the government officials that allowed military weapons at the hands of terrorists that will oppress women. But yet, you turn your back on a girl who saved your life or saved your daughter's life, because she supports unarmed citizenry. And you're associating with these government officials because they're against gun violence. Now, also, you're not against the gun violence that's committed in Afghanistan by the Taliban and Al Qaeda. You're not against that gun violence. That's what give you. Okay? You're not against drug cartels who obviously have guns of their own, bringing in little girls to rape them. Okay? Sex slavery. Not against that. That's not violence. It's not that you have violence. Okay? Are you gonna study this new government office? Are they gonna study the murders that happen in the democratic cities? Because in our country, I think 2 out of 3 murders, every 2 to 3 murders in our country that are committed in LA, San Francisco, Detroit, Chicago, New York City. Okay, the liberal strongholds. Now, New York City had a Republican mayor early in this century, even though he's anti-gun. And New York City has a couple of Republicans here and there, like this city council member or that congresswoman. Okay, but most of the cities are Democrat, like not Kennedy Democrat, as in left-wing zealot communist Democrat. Since 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Chicago, Detroit, they're covered in liberalism. Okay? And most of the murders in this country take place in those cities. Like 2 out of 3. Okay? And most of those murders are black on black violence. So you're against gun violence. Okay? Are you so against gun violence that you're willing to stop hanging out and stop letting your picture be taken with government officials who leave machine guns for terrorists in Afghanistan? And with government officials who turn a blind eye to armed terrorists smuggling rape victims across the country? And are you so against violence that you're going to study the violence that happens in Democrat-controlled cities? Okay? Because it's called selective outrage, okay? When a crazy kid steals a gun and kills a whole bunch of kids in school, you can exploit that for your own purposes. I want the Second Amendment repealed because I want guns taken because I don't want this because I want that type of gun banned because. Okay? But then when it's black on black violence, when it's Muslim terrorist against Muslim woman violence, okay, when it's international drug cartel against little girl violence, you're nowhere to be seen. Okay? So that's the bullshit we deal with in this country today. If you're so hell-bent against gun violence, let's you bring it there. I want to see you go to Detroit, go to Chicago, go to LA, go to San Francisco, go to wherever, Portland or Seattle or any of these crazy fucking liberal cities. I mean, hypodermic needles and shit in the street, drugs, all that shit. Okay, gangbangers. I want to see you all go there. And I want to see you stand outside of a fucking gangbangers headquarters with a fucking picket sign saying end gun violence. Okay? Let's see how hardcore you really are about gun violence. Thank you.